Hey, Gen X guy here. Another walk and talk. Trying to beat the rain. We'll be getting it here in Tennessee. Anyway, I want to talk to you today about being a Gen Xer or over 40 and getting into crypto or trying to learn something about it. And I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how I got into it. But before I do, subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you would. Appreciate it. Helps me grow the channel and keep doing these videos. That'd be great. So how did I get into crypto? Roll the clock back 5 years. Funny story. You would think that me being a tech guy for years that I would have been into crypto and Bitcoin back when, in 09, 10, 2013, and I'd have a mess of Bitcoin, right? No, I don't. I wish. But unfortunately, I didn't do it. I kind of was skeptical about it, like most people thought about Bitcoin and crypto at the time. Mostly Bitcoin. That was the first one and the big one. But I remember when the pandemic hit, we kind of came out of nowhere. Everything got shut down. The stock market, crashed. Crypto did as well. I really wasn't paying much attention to crypto, obviously, at the time. And so I knew it was going to be a V-shaped recovery. Had a lot of cash on the side. And so I went into the stock market pretty heavily. Because airlines went down, hotels went down, everything went down. And so I just pretty much spread it out because I knew it was going to recover pretty well. Tech, Netflix was booming. People locked up inside, binge watching shows. Roku, lots of great tech stocks to get in. So, and then they obviously started printing a bunch of money, which is why things are so propped up now. They printed $7 trillion just during that period of time alone. So anyway, at the time I was coaching volleyball. Both daughters were heavy into volleyball, and so we were at practice one evening, and this is in February, March of 2021. I'll never forget it. And that's when we were not at home, so we're watching the news channels, the business channels, and I was following that closely. We're all talking about this V-shaped recovery in the stock market, and sure enough, it was doing that. Well, crypto was booming. They printed all this money. They lowered the rates to zero, and here it comes. Here the money is flooding in. And so we were at practice one evening, and we were having a water break, and all of us huddled together, the coaches, for 5-10 minutes while the players were having water break. And it's like, oh man, look at Bitcoin. It's crazy, isn't it? Bitcoin's going nuts. Look at this. And how about Dogecoin? And that's when Dogecoin really started getting noticed, and people were talking about Dogecoin and some of these top, and Ethereum. They were all starting to boom. And I remember Bitcoin had just crossed 50,000 at the time, and I'm sitting here thinking, 50,000 for one Bitcoin? Are you kidding me? $50,000 for one Bitcoin? No way. So another coach that I was really good friends with, he needed a ride home that evening, and he lived not far from me. We're about 30 minutes from where we practiced. So I gave him a ride home, and we're riding home. I said, man, tell me about this. And he's older than me. He's 8 years older than me, 10 years older than me. And I'm sitting here thinking, there's something wrong with this picture. I've been in tech my whole life. I'm 8-10 years younger than this guy. He's all into this stuff, and I'm not. Something's not right here. This is unacceptable. So we're in the car, and I said, tell me. He goes, I'll give you an example. Dogecoin. He said, my son bought Dogecoin when it was 0.007 7/100ths of a cent, and he had several thousand of them, and at this time it was like 5 cents a piece. It was just starting to take off. So he X'd his money in that period of time. And I'm sitting here thinking, really? It's a meme coin. Has no utility at all, does nothing. It's basically a fork of Bitcoin, which is it actually is a fork. Dogecoin is a fork of Bitcoin, which to Litecoin, Litecoin to Lucky Coin, Lucky Coin to Dogecoin. I know, confusing, right? But anyway, it has no value at all. It inflates like crazy, but Elon Musk made it popular. He started talking about it, the Dogecoin. So all these people were getting rich off of Dogecoin, this meme coin that has zero value or zero utility, but all this value. So I thought, you know what? This is nuts. And he says, yeah. He said, man, this is the future of money. This is where this stuff is going. Because of the banking system and all this craziness that's going on in the world, you can pretty much just bank on it. This is what this is going to do. And so I thought to myself, all right, that's it. I've had enough. I got to figure this out. I got to do something about this. I can't, this is unacceptable. I just can't live with this. So I got home, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, what do I do? What am I going to do? I hadn't been paying attention. I was busy with my business, entrepreneur, growing that business. That business was going gangbusters. It's a land real estate platform. It was doing very well at the time, growing like crazy because people were looking to buy land because of the pandemic, getting out, leaving the city. So that business was doing well. So I thought to myself, I need to figure this out. So what did I do? Came to this place, YouTube. And here we go. I started binge watching YouTube videos on crypto, and everybody's talking about how, oh, it's blowing up, and all the YouTube, the big influencers. BitBoy at the time, he was big. Cryptos R Us, George, I still watch George. Ivan on Tech, I still watch Ivan to this day. And a few others that I watch, some of which I don't watch anymore, others that I do, and I've stayed in touch this whole time. But what's interesting about all of this is that I got in right at the peak. Go figure, right? Go figure. I get in at the peak. Didn't know that at the time. So what I did, like a silly me. I'll never forget. I had $40,000 that I had made off of the investing in the stock market with the V-shaped recovery, right? And I said, all right, put it into Gemini. Gemini was if you watched my video from the other day, that was the first crypto exchange I used. So I go into Gemini, drop 40,000. I did it in chunks, and I bought Bitcoin. I started in Ethereum, and I started buying some of these other coins that I didn't know a whole lot about. Learn from that. Do your own research. Don't buy tokens and crypto without knowing anything about them. Don't do that. So I started buying this stuff, and I'll never forget it. Overnight, I go to bed. We had a tournament the next day. I go to bed, and what happens? It tanks. We had just cleared $50,000. It was huge for Bitcoin. What happened? It tanks. It just drops down to 40,000. It just keeps on dropping. It's liquidated. And I'm thinking, oh, I woke up the next morning. I was going to puke. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I knew we were going to be at this volleyball tournament all day in Atlanta, Georgia. So we get there, and I'm sitting on this bench, sidelines, and I'm thinking to myself, this is great. I got to be here all day, and this is all I'm going to be thinking about is how much money I just lost in crypto. And this is making me sick to my stomach. So fast forward the clock today, I'm used to it. There's nothing that can happen in crypto anymore that bothers me. They say volatility is the cost of admission to being, if you can't handle the volatility, you just don't need to be in it. So I'm used to it. And another thing is time in the market, not trying to time the market. And so I had gotten in it at the peak. And so we went through the summer. It had dipped down, gotten all the way down. I don't know, it got to like in the 20s, I believe, got cut in half. And then it worked all its way all the way back up. I kept putting money in, putting money in. And then we got to Q4 of 2021. And that was, most people thought Bitcoin was going to end up topping at 100,000. It's a psychological number, right? 100 grand, that's the top. Well, we got to 69,000 and that was it. And so that it ended, and then everything just went down, and we went into a bear market, and went into the bear market until about 2023, right before the halving. And that's the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin. We won't talk about that now. So so I got in it the peak, the wrong time, but I've been in it now for 5 years pretty much. And I firmly believe in the future of it, and I've seen a lot in these 5 years of where crypto has come, and all of the last administration, pretty much the last administration, the whole time I was in it, was anti-crypto and just had their finger on it and just trying to shut it down and doing everything they could to just get rid of it, make it difficult, and we survived it. And now with Trump in, new administration, SEC, pro crypto, and it really is, guys, if you follow my channel long enough here and you hear me talk, and we'll, as time goes, we'll get more and more in this, and you'll learn more. And the whole idea here is, if you're in your 40s and you're in your 50s, I get it, this stuff is is a lot. It's a lot to chew on, and I'm here to help best I can. There's so much, it's difficult to get all the information to you in these videos, but if I can help you crawl before you walk before you run, that's good. I would tell you right now, just stick to Bitcoin, and maybe Ethereum and Solana. Catch the dips. We just had a dip, catch those. Another thing that they say is, don't put some money in that you can't afford to lose. Don't go putting everything you've got in it. And I think with these Bitcoin and all that, that stuff's not going to zero at this point. It's here to stay. Crypto is not going away. It's not. You can count on it. It is here to stay. You can't shut it down. It's too decentralized at this point. So, and how in the banking world, they better figure it out quick. So, but yeah, that's my story, and how I got into it, and I've been way deep into it these last 5 years, and feel like I've caught up. I would, pretty knowledgeable in the space, not only just in the crypto, but the blockchain that runs it. People just think crypto is just funny magic internet money, and what people don't understand is you can't have crypto without blockchain. Blockchain is the technology that runs underneath the cryptocurrencies, right? The cryptocurrencies are what transact on the blockchain. So your blockchain's not going to do much unless there's some sort of transactional on that blockchain, and that's what the cryptocurrency is, and we'll get more into that down the road. There's usually on every blockchain there's a native currency. With Ethereum, it's ETH. That blockchain doesn't do much without ETH to transact on that chain. So yeah, and Bitcoin, that's Bitcoin. That coin is what sits on that blockchain. So it's more than just cryptocurrency and magic internet money. It's there for a reason. So, but we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, so that's my story. If I can help in any way, those of you that are over 40, 50, or even those that aren't, if you're new and you're in your 30s or younger, and there's that crowd out there too. I understand. It can be overwhelming. You get to where you're in your 40s, your 50s, or even the baby boomers in your 60s and 70s. My dad, he was an engineer, and he's pretty tech savvy for his age. He's in his mid 70s, and it pretty amazes me how much he's able to absorb this information, understand it. But again, he wants to, being that he's the engineer that he is. So it intrigues him. So, but there's a lot of people out there that it's not for them. But I really challenge you to just understand the basics of it, and know that Gen Z, millennials, Gen Z, and the new Gen Alpha, they're going to be using this to transact with. It is the new rails. This Genius Act with stable coins, that's where we're headed. Now the stable coins is basically digital dollars, and we'll be able to send and receive that much quicker than doing it through the banking system that's old and archaic and slow. And I'll talk about that in a future video as well. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit of how I got into this crypto. And heck, I was 46, 47 when I got into it, which a little later than I would have liked to have gotten into it, but you know, I was an entrepreneur doing other things, staying busy, growing a business from literally nothing to a 7-digit company. So I've done well doing other things, but I enjoy crypto. I think it's when I got into it and I started understanding it after that car ride home, dropping my buddy off, and I started digging in, my eyes were wide open. I said, this is a game changer. This is true financial freedom here, and I'm all about freedom, financial freedom, and it's huge to me. And when I saw we're early, guys. We are very early in this space. A lot of people think, well, you know, Bitcoin is already 113,000. Its high was 125. You know, it can't go up much anymore. And we'll talk about Bitcoin and the tokenomics of Bitcoin and why it can go much, much higher, and help you understand why it can go much higher. So anyway, that's my story, guys. Want to share it with you of how I got into crypto. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment below, please, if you want to hear anything or want to learn something or have a question or just share how you got into crypto. That'd be great. So anyway, have a good day. Gonna beat the rain here in Tennessee. Gen X guy out. See ya.